Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today we're going to continue with our discussion on Silver Era physiques, the greatest Silver Era physiques, with today's focus looking at the biggest arms during this phenomenal era of the Silver Era, that is. I believe that at the time, not only did we have beautifully shaped physiques, but their arms were getting not just peaky but massive. We're talking massive, some stretching the tape at 19 inches and all drug-free and natural, of course, natural prior to the age of steroids, which began in the Golden Era. Here we have the wonderful physique of Steve Reeves showing a beautifully developed bicep, peaky, round, and stretching the tape at over 18 inches. We will be discussing Steve Reeves and many other classic bodybuilders from the Silver Era, so let's get straight into it. So with the Silver Era, not only did we see the increasing of arm size, but the improvement of shape and muscularity of bodybuilders. For example, we can see that obviously genetics had played a part since the Bronze Era, but with the Silver Era, with improved training methods, so we had the York system, the Wader system, etc. Specialized training, especially for the arms, the muscularity increased, and you can compare, for example, the Bronze Era wrestler here. His name was Stanislaus Sabisco, who had 20-inch arms from the Bronze Era, but you can see obviously that his arms were not as muscular as the phenomenal Melvin Wells shown at the bottom. I've covered Melvin in a separate video linked above and in the description below. And believe me, what an incredible physique. Look at that wonderful shapes. It's like someone shoved softballs into his arms, for God's sake. And there's even a split on one of those. Beautiful muscular arms. So you can see that with the improved training methods and obviously genetics playing a part, the muscularity, the shape, and the beauty of the arm was really starting to come out in the Silver Era. Now, one of the most extraordinary bicep measurements ever taken and development of arms has to belong to Ed Theriault, who had an incredible 132 pounds and standing only 5 feet and 1.5 inches, had 16.5-inch arms. Can you believe it? That is absolutely Herculean. And you can clearly see in this photo of Ed Theriault's arm how the shape of his arm, there's barely a peak because the damn thing is so huge for such a short man of such small poundage. He truly had a Herculean physique for a Silver Era bodybuilder. Amazing, amazing. Another splendid example is Leo Robert, who was being promoted in the late 40s and early 50s as a rising star at a height of 5'7.5" and only weighing 166 pounds. He had over 17-inch arms, very muscular, as you can see. I mean, look at the size of his forearm as well. It's almost as big as his upper arm. It's incredible. So really wonderful development seen in these Silver Era bodybuilders. Let's continue. Now, one of the bodybuilders from the Silver Era that had truly spectacular arms was Eric Pedersen, and you can clearly see why. The amount of peak on that bicep is just absolutely insane. I mean, it even rivals the peaks of nowadays. For a natural bodybuilder, a natural Silver Era physique, this guy actually went on to become a wrestler. But his genetics were incredible. He sported over 18-inch arms at 5'10" and 200 pounds. That is insane. Beautiful, beautiful peak. Extraordinary development from Eric Pedersen. Now, no Silver Era physique discussion would be complete without mentioning Steve Reeves. Steve Reeves, at a height of 6 feet and 1 inch, weighing 215 pounds, at his best had over 18-inch arms as well. Although not the most massive arms, definitely one of the best arms of the Silver Era. Now, as we move towards the heavyweights, we start dealing with creatures such as Melvin Wells, who sported almost 18.5-inch biceps and I mean, these weren't flabby biceps at all. Look at that. You can see the beautiful split on his, I'm assuming, left bicep. Just admire that. I mean, the muscularity and the size, the peak, the fullness, it's just all there. Melvin Wells was truly blessed genetically with wonderful 18.5-inch arms. And by the way, I mean, you can see his forearms are not that massively developed. He just had massive biceps. He's only at a height of 5'10", weighing just over 200 pounds. Incredible development, incredible. Now the best example, the most extraordinary example of a Silver Era bodybuilder with incredible arms has to be Mr. Arms himself, John Macwilliams, who at 186 pounds, shredded, and at 6 feet high, had 19.25-inch arms. Incredible. Here he is flexing his arm, though at a much heavier weight, 225 pounds. At 225 pounds, his arms were 20 inches cold. We are talking cold, not even pumped. But however, when he got shredded for competition, his arms actually dropped down to 19.25 inches cold, though cold as well. Pretty incredible development. John Macwilliams was not just a bodybuilder but a powerlifter, and I may have to cover him in a separate video. His routine was high in volume, and he was incredibly powerful. As a powerlifter, for example, he was one of the very first men in the world to ever bench press 500 pounds. 500-pound bench press for a Silver Era bodybuilder with 20-inch arms. Extraordinary achievement when you consider that he was drug-free, and this was without supplements and before the steroid era. Unbelievable development for John Macwilliams during the Silver Era. One of the best Silver Era physiques in my opinion. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video on the Silver Era physiques that I've covered. I know that by no means is this list extensive. I haven't talked about Clancy Ross, Alan Steffen, John Grimmick, or even the great Reg Park. For your information, for example, Reg Park wasn't discovered in America until he arrived, and that was after he won Mr. Britain in the late 40s. So I know I haven't covered these. The aim of this video was to actually lead up to the great John Macwilliams. I've only looked at examples of Silver Era physiques with increasing muscular girth. It's very interesting to see, having stated that with increasing height and body weight, muscular girth in the arms just increase, and this makes absolute sense. You can't expect to have 20-inch arms and only weigh 150 pounds and have, for example, a height of 5 feet. It just doesn't make sense, unless, of course, you take an incredible amount of anabolic steroids. But for these drug-free lifters of the Silver Era, they really did develop incredible physiques, all drug-free and natural, with John Macwilliams being the prime example. I mean, this guy had well over 50-inch chest and, as you saw earlier, 20-inch arms when he wasn't necessarily completely shredded. Cold, 20-inch arms, cold. Even Sergio, when asked, what did you think of John Macwilliams' physique, Sergio stated that John Macwilliams' arms were too big. Can you believe it? And this is a great shot here of John Macwilliams holding a most muscular. You can see the incredible size of his arms. But I mean, his whole physique was massive. And he was massive because he was 6 feet tall, weighing at 225 pounds. So no wonder he could get 19 to 20-inch arms. So, as I said, I probably will have to cover John Macwilliams in a separate video. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Let me know what you thought, and thank you for watching. And if you wish to donate, please go to my PayPal account, goldenerabookworm@gmail.com, for donations. I'd very much appreciate it. So that's it for me. I hope you've enjoyed again the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.